Okay, now we can start. This is the content of this course. No? I think you have already know. The course code is SKT503. The title is Sanskrit Rhetoric. Uh, the aim or purpose of this course is to introduce the theories of Sanskrit rhetoric and also to apply in Sanskrit words in verse or prose and verse come prose. We can call it Champu Kavya. And at the end of this course, the student should be able to describe major theories of Sanskrit rhetoric and can apply them to poetry. And the content of this course is the first one is history of Sanskrit rhetoric. This topic today I'm going to teach and I'm going to start. And then classification of literary compositions and some problems of the Sanskrit poetics and principles of literary criticism. And this is the special topic of this course, 8 major theories of Sanskrit rhetoric. The theories are the Rasavada, Gunavada, Alankaravada, Ritivada, Vakroktivada, Auchityavada, Anumitivada, and Dvanivada. And also we have to study the selected sections of the Sanskrit poetics. The one of the major works of the Sanskrit poetics is Dvanyaloka. And another work is called Kavya Darcha. We have to study selected sections of these two works. And these are the recommended readings. These 3 works are in Sinhala. I think they are not valid for the non-Sri Lankan students. But this there are 3 works in English. The first one is Indian Poetics, written by the Jayan Gonda series. And another one is History of Sanskrit Poetics, written by S.K. Day. And History of Sanskrit Poetics, written by P.V. Karni. These 3 works are major and describe about the Sanskrit poetics, history and origin, and what are the works, and who are the workers of this Sanskrit poetics. This is the content of our diploma course, SKT 503. Okay. Okay, now we can start the first lesson of this postgraduate course. Today, the first topic of this course is History of Sanskrit Rhetoric, Alankara Sastra. We can call Sanskrit rhetoric, Sanskrit poetics, Alankara Sastra. All of those words are similar. In this lesson, we can study the origin and who are the authors and who are the major theories, and all of these contents we can study from this lesson. Okay. When we consider the meaning and scope of Sanskrit rhetoric, Sanskrit rhetoric is known as Alankara Sastra. We can call it Sanskrit rhetoric, and also we can call it as Alankara Sastra. Yeah. There are two words, poetic and poetry. Poetic and poetry. Poetry means the creations, no? We can create verses and prose verses, dramas. Those are the creations. No? We can call it as poetry. Poetic means the criticism. Criticism of those verses and prose verses and dramas. Criticism is poetic. Considering these two words, I want to ask you one question. What is the first started of these two words, poetry or poetic? Can you?
You just now you mentioned that the poetic is like a criticize of the
yeah. Poetic is the criticize. Poetry is the creations.
Poetry is a type of literature. It's a
literature verses and prose verses, dramas, everything. The literature is poetry. We can create, and poetic is the criticism. Critic.
Yeah, the poetics about the poet, right? Something about the poet, and the poetry is the poem itself, right?
but you said poetry including verses and dramas, everything literally.
Yeah, literature. Poetry,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, actually, the first started poetry, without the poetry, we cannot criticize them, First
Yeah,
started,
that's the object of the
yeah,
criticizing. Yeah.
First begin the creations and then the criticize them, and after that begins the poetics. Yeah. Yeah, now we can understand the definition of the poetic. What is the meaning of the poetic? We can understand, we can take the meaning of this word in three ways. The first one is grammatical definition. Uh, we can call alankara, and alankara shastra. We can the same word alankara shastra, poetic, rhetoric. It is the same word, same words. So in the alankara, the word we can understand through the grammatical definition. Alankara. We can divide into three parts of that word. Alankara. Alam, kru, gan. These are the two parts of this word. Alankara. Alam means sufficient, fitting, beautify. It is like a affix. Pro is the verb root of this word, alankara. The verb root, kru. It means to do or to make something. Gan is the suffix. Nominal suffix of forming an abstract noun. This is the grammatical definition of the word alankara. No? We can understand the word alankara through the dictionary definition. Williams, I take here the Williams. There are so many Sanskrit dictionaries, Apte and Williams. According to the dictionary definition, we can take three meanings. The one is ornament. Ornament, as human, we use some ornaments for the decorations, especially the women. And another meaning is decoration. Decorate. We can decorate something. Another meaning is act of decorating. actions or activity of the decorating of something. These two meanings are related to the dictionary definition, according to the Monier Williams. And another definition from the poetic. Alankara is the ornament of poetry. We can take this word to define as the ornament of poetry. And also this will represent the early Alankara school. Bhamaha, Dandin, Udbata, Rudrata, all of those rhetoricians or Alankarikas represent this meaning, this view, the poetic definition. They consider this Alankara, they consider Alankara is the major thing for the poetic. Then we can come Alankara Shastra. Before we discuss the meaning of the Alankara, Alankara Shastra is a manual or textbook of the rhetoric. Alankara Shastra. We can get a broader meaning of this word, Alankara Shastra. We can call systematic study of poetic beauty, expression, and aesthetics. And this Alankara Shastra concerned with Kavya and Natya or drama. Okay. Now, the origin of the poetics is outcome of several debatable questions. When we consider the origin, how is the origin of the poetics? Actually, the poeticians consider these questions before to origin of the poetics. The first one is, what is poetry? What are the major components of the poetry? After that, another question is, what is the figure of poetry? What is the figure? What is the shape of the poetry? And also, they think, what is the soul of the poetry? If we consider the poetry as a human figure, there should be a soul of it. They think, what is the soul of the poetry? And also, what is the perfect definition? What is the perfect or what is the complete definition of the poetry? And what are the benefits of the poetry? What can we take? What can the benefits take from the poetry? what is the nature of the aesthetic experience? If there is a poetry, from that poetry we can take some aesthetic experience. They consider what is the nature, what is the shape of the aesthetic experience, and also what is the difference between poetic language from the ordinary speech. There is a difference between poetic language from the ordinary speech. Poetic language, ordinary speech is like a report. We can say something directly. We can discuss when we together with our friends, or with something we can talk like a direct speech. It is the ordinary speech, but the poetic language is a little bit different from that. Poetic language is should be included with the creative. And what are the special qualities of poetry? If there is a poetry, there should be special qualities. They told what are the special qualities of the poetry, and what are the essential causes those enable a poet to create poetry. That is also the special matter. The essential causes. Poetry. If we want to create a poetry, we have essential causes. Someone have by birth, and someone get experience from others, and from these questions they discuss what are the essential causes enable a poet to create poetry. Give me 1 minute. There is a call from the Dhammalokatero.
Sure, Bande.
This is the difference between poetic language and ordinary speech. Ordinary speech we can discuss, read, or talk directly. There is not any alankaras, ornaments, or the creative. There is not any creative ways for the ordinary speech. The poetic language is little bit different from that. No, we have to create imaging, suggest. We can do the ornament. We can make with the ornaments for the poetic language. You can see here from these two pictures what is the different poetic language from the ordinary speech. Yeah. Is there any questions or?
Not now. Maybe later. I think I may ask you some questions. Thank you.
Yeah, this is the examples for the to explain what is ordinary speech from the poetic language. You can see here the first sentence. The king looked at her face. This is the direct or ordinary speech. We can talk, we can call with someone, or we can write a report like this. No, the king looked at her face. But we can write it, or we can call, we can speak with ornaments, with alankaras, like the bees called the king's eyes. King's eyes, similar with the bees, hid themselves in the lotus called her face. Her face, similar with the lotus. It is the poetic language. The bees called the king's eyes hid themselves in the lotus called her face. I think all of the countries have poetry, and I think you can understand what is the different poetic language from the ordinary speech. You can see here the sun has set. Can you say that sentence with the poetic language? Can you imagine something about that?
Sorry, your question? Can you repeat it again?
I ask the example of the ordinary speech. The king looked at her face. The poetic language is like that. The bees called the king's eyes hid themselves in the lotus called her face. The second sentence of the ordinary speech, the sun has set. Can you make a sentence with the poetic language?
You mean we are writing a poetry? OK，和尚，你看你能不能做一首？按照左边的这个句子，普通的句子，然后右边做一首诗语。
Very difficult.
I think Werner can make a Asian Chinese poetry.
Very difficult. That's very difficult.
日落苍山远是吧？
Yeah, I can make like this. You can see the sun sings softly beyond the silent beyond the silent hills. Can you understand?
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
The sun sings softly beyond the silent hills.
Beyond the silent
It is
hills.
a poetic language.
Yeah, they have a beautiful
Yeah.
paintings like
Yeah.
yeah.
We can use upama or similar and Sanskrit ornaments. It is not a direct speech, ordinary speech. Sun has set. We can create like this. The sun sings softly beyond the silent hills. The moon is shining.
Yeah, please, Pandey.
We can say like this. Silver moonlight spills across the waiting sky.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. 颜色的月光，怎么样？洒
Yes,
满
close the waiting sky. Oh yeah, very beautiful point.
And the reading the sun has set, moon is shining is not getting a joyful experience, no? The aesthetic experience. But reading or listening like this, we can get the enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Kind of experience that of a special situation. Like
the birds are flying into their nests. Wind
in the wonder.
Wanderers drift wanderers drift homeward to their dreaming nest. It is the poetic language, Can you understand?
Yeah.
Winged.
In it.
Winged wanderers drift homeward to their dreaming, not dreaming, dreaming nest. Okay. Okay, if we consider, if we think the poetic as a human, Kavya Purusha. Kavya Purusha means poetic we can image poetry as a human. Kavya Purusha. The human should be included with the soul. We are all the humans, so we have soul. We all have a soul, and if we consider the poetry as a soul, the poeticians also think the soul can be divided into 8 parts, 8 portions. Rasa means the aesthetic experience. Some poeticians or rhetoricians consider rasa or aesthetic experience as the soul of the poetry. The soul of the poetry considered as rasa or aesthetic experience. They make a theory as aesthetic experience or rasa. Another rhetoricians or alankarikas consider alankara or ornaments as soul of the poetry. Another one considered merits or guna as the soul of the poetry. Like these priti or styles, dhvani, suggestions, auchitya, propriety, vakrokti means indirect expressions, anumiti, inferential knowledge. Those are the 8 parts of the Sanskrit theories. Someone considered rasa or aesthetic experience as the soul of the poetry. Other one considered figures of speech as a soul of the poetry. According to this, we can identify 8 parts of the theories in Sanskrit poetics. From these 8 parts, the last one is anumiti. Anumiti is cannot consider perfect part or perfect theories of the Sanskrit poetics because they criticize of the negations of the dhvani theories, dhvanivadins. They criticize of the dhvanivadins, dhvani theory. Therefore, anumiti is cannot consider as a perfect theory of the Sanskrit poetics. I think you can understand what I call, no?
So which one is the soul of poetry? Is it rasa or one of the 8?
It is. It depends on the. Actually, it depends on the persons who started that theory. All of those the originator or the creator of these theories, the major persons of those theories considered separately, rasa as the soul,
Oh.
alankara as the soul of the poetry.
Okay.
They depends on the originator of this theory.
Different schools, they have
Yeah.
the
Different
idea.
school. Yeah.
I think Rasa and Guna is the soul. Rasa and Guna.
Different.
Yeah. Actually, we can discuss all of those schools separately. Furthermore, and rasa and dhvani is a little bit special theory in Sanskrit poetics. Rasa, aesthetic experience, and dhvani. Okay. Okay, before to start the course of the theories, we have to identify what is the background of this poetic, how was the origin of the Sanskrit poetics. It is background. What is the background of the origin of the poetics? According to Indian tradition, all of the sastras started from the divine, poetics, poetry, the Ayurvedic, everything. According to the tradition, they call all of started from the divine. Poetics also same. There is a works Kavya Mimamsa by Rajasekara, 9th and 10th century. He described the origin of the Sanskrit poetics like this. Shiva is the first creator of Alankara Sastra or poetics. You can see here who is the Shiva. Shiva gives Brahma this poetics. Shiva revealed it to Brahma. Shiva reveals that Alankara Sastra or poetics to Brahma, who in turn imparted it to 18 branches. There are 18 branches of the poetics, and from these 18 branches came to the human world. Actually, this is a myth of the Sanskrit literature and Indian tradition. This Shiva revealed Brahma, and Brahma separated these poetics and gave 18 branches, and from the 18 branches received human world. The branch.
Sorry, Pandey. So which is this one? Is in the middle? Is this the Shiva?
Yeah, sorry.
Who is Shiva in this picture? Who is the Shiva?
Shiva is
this one in the middle.
This one.
Yeah, he has a weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And the other, this with four face, four faces. This is the
That's Brahma. That's Brahma.
Oh, okay.
Then 18 disciples, I think.
Yeah, others are the 18 18 branches. Persons
Okay.
who related to the 18 branches. No? These are the names: Bhrigu, Bharata, Gautama, Vaishishta, Kashyapa, Agastya, Markandeya, Agniras, Vyasa, Sanjnatha, Narada, Sanjinatha, Narada, Sukha, Somanaka, Pulastya, Vyasa, Krishna, Kavi, Rishis. Actually, these names are also a little bit confused because same names also mentioned here. Because this is actually not cannot believe as a real, but it is a myth in Sanskrit literature, Indian traditions. But some names of these 18 branches are very famous, like the Bharata, the name of Bharata, Agastya, Vyasa, Narada. These are the little bit famous in Sanskrit poetics. Therefore, we cannot refuse all of these names, but some names are famous in Sanskrit poetics. Yeah, you can see here the beginnings of Sanskrit poetics. It is received from Shiva to Brahma. And he gave the 18 branches of the poetics. And after that, we can see Bharata's Natya Sastra, the 2nd century before Christian era. Bharata's Natya Sastra is the first work reveals the Sanskrit poetics. Since from the beginning of the Sanskrit poetics, if we consider the divine as the beginning of the Sanskrit poetics, another period begins from the Bharata's Natya Sastra, the 2nd century BCE. Bharata writes Natya Sastra, lying the foundation of Sanskrit poetics and dramaturgy. Bharata's main purpose of the writing Natya Sastra is not to describe Sanskrit poetics, but explain or describe Sanskrit drama. When he described the Sanskrit drama or dramaturgy, he explained some places, the components of the Sanskrit poetics. And next period start from the Bhamaha. Bhamaha's Kavya Alankara. He was 7th century Christian era. Bhamaha composes Kavya Alankara. He composed Kavya Alankara, and he is the first person who described or explained Kavya or Alankara or ornaments. Bharata's Natya Sastra is not main purpose to describe Alankaras. However, Bhamaha Bhama's main purpose to describe Alankara. No? We can identify two phases of the origin and development of Sanskrit poetics. We can consider this is the first step. Bharata's Natya Sastra is the second step. Bhama's Kavya Alankara is the third step of the development of Sanskrit poetics. There is a little bit gaps between beginning and Bharata's Natya Sastra, and also since from the Bharata's Natya Sastra there is a gap between Bharata and Bhama. Okay, now we can go to the Vedic literature. There are so many places in the Vedic literature expressions poetics, components of the poetics. The Upama, Atishayokti, Upama means the simile. Atishayokti is hyperbole. Anuprasa means the repetition of the words, repetition of the letters. Same pronunciation letters repeat again and again and take something aesthetic experience. Anuprasa. Upama, Atishayokti and Anuprasa. I extract one verse from the Rig Veda, first Mandala 124 Sukta and 7th verse. Abhrateva punsa eti pratichi garta rugiva sanaye dananam Yayeva patya ushati suasa usha hasreva ni rinite apsa. This is the verse in the Rig Veda. The meaning of this verse is like a loving sister. This is the simile, no? Like loving sister. Like a devoted wife. This is also another simile, upama. And a smiling woman. The dawn approaches gracefully and removes darkness. Dawn is the divine. Approaches gracefully and removes the darkness. The dawn is the ushas. Approaches gracefully and removes the darkness, brighten light and prosperity. This is the meaning of that verse, and this verse addresses ushas. Usas is the divine person. Similar to the morning. In this verse includes 4 similes. Sister, brother. Yeah. Sister, brother. There is a connection with sister, with the brothers. Like sister coming to brothers with love, the dawn come to our earth. It is the meaning of loving sister. And one rising from a pit. Actually, this means not included it. Yeah, we can understand the morning comes to our earth like one rising from a pit. And also devoted wife comes to his husband. The morning Oshas comes to our world, our earth. And a smiling woman. And like a smiling woman, the morning comes to our earth. This is the famous verse. In Rig Veda, we can identify 4 similes. There is another verse also. Now, page 16. If you want a break,
Okay.
you can take 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. We can start 3:30.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Shall we start now?
Yes, sure.
Whenever,
Yeah.
can I have a request?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Before you explain the simile or the poetic, can you read the verses first?
Uh,
Can you read the verse, the Devanagari verses? Because we want to hear the sound also, right?
yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Can you provide some meaning?
Um,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. You say this verse, no?
Yes, yes.
You want to read it again?
Yes, the verses. Can you read the verses? Yes, yes.
This verse is Abrateva Punsa Eti Prachiti, like this, no?
Yes, 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 yes.
Abrateva Punsa Eti Prachiti Garta Rugiva Sane Dananam Jayeva Patya Ushati Suasa Usha Hasreva Ni Rinite Apsa. Actually, the
Can you read one more time? Sorry,
yeah,
I didn't hear properly.
yeah. Abrateva Punsa Eti Prachiti Garta Rugiva Sanaye Dhananam Jayeva Patya Ushati Suasa Usha Hasreva Ni Rinite Apsa.
Can you explain the meaning? Because not all the words we know, I think. I don't know how about the others. Other students, you know all the meaning?
No, but there's an English translation there. Like a loving sister, a devoted wife, that one, I think.
But we would like to, if Bande can give us more explanation of this.
Yes, for the words.
Yeah.
They were good, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, the words is mixed with and cannot get word by word meaning. I will try to take the meaning, general meaning, no? Like a loving sister, it includes Usati Suasa. Devoted wife means Jayeva Patya.
Jayeva Patya.
Yeah. Hasreva smiling. Abrateva bringing light.
Again?
Abrateva.
What's the meaning?
Bringing light. Garta Rug Iva, actually, it is the not include the meaning of the English. One rising from the pit is Garta Rug Iva. Rinite Apsa.
Directe ras apspa. Asam.
Rinite Apsa. Removes darkness. Dhananam prosperity.
Dhananam.
Yeah, Dhananam.
Dhananam. Yes. Dhananam. Dhananam. Dhananam.
Eti means approaches. Pratichi gracefully. Yeah, the words is mixed with together and cannot take a word by word meaning. This is the general meaning of this verse. Actually, this is the Vedic verse, and it is there is a difference between the Sanskrit and Vedic language. Vedic language, in the Vedic language, the words have special meanings. We can understand from those special meanings of these words. No? In Sanskrit language, we can understand easily, but from the Vedic language, we have to use some dictionaries written by the experts of the Vedic language. No?
Thank you, Venerable.
Yeah. This is another verse taken from the Rig Veda, first mandala, 164 Sukta and 20 verse. I saw the Chin send a message of these the English letters of this verse.
Venerable, can you read the Devanagari? We want to hear the sound. So we also learn how to read.
Yeah.
Properly, you know.
Yeah. Dwa Suparna Sayuja Sakaya. Samana Vrukshang Parisaswajate. Tayoreka Pippalang Swad Vatya. Anashnanyo Abhichaka Shiti. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya Samana Vruksang Parisasva Jate Tayoreka Pippalang Swadvatya Anasnan Nanyo Abhichaka Shiti. It's okay.
Yes, good.
Yes. Very
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank
Very
you.
beautiful.
The meaning is two beautiful birds. Two beautiful birds meaning the Dva Suparna. Dva Suparna. Two beautiful birds. Sayuja Sakaya, united and friendly. Sayuja Sakaya, united and friendly. Samana Vruksam Parisasva Jate, sit on the same tree. Sit on the same tree. Tayo Eka, of the two. Tayo Eka, of the two, one. Pippalang Swad Dvatya, eats the sweet fruit. Anasnannanyo Abhichaka Shiti, while the other, without eating, merely watches. There are two beautiful birds, united and friendly, sit on the same tree. One of two, of the two, one eats the sweet fruit, while the other, without eating, merely watches. The white bird looking at another bird, sitting in front of, and looking at the bird, how to eat that fruit, no? According to the Rajasekara's Kavya Mimamsa, this is the Atishayokti ornament. Atishayokti means hyperbole or exaggeration. This is the exaggeration. And also here, mentioned the philosophical concept. Actually, it is not include our course, but the bird who is eating the fruit called jiva. Actually, it is the philosophical concept. I don't know whether you can understand or not. The white bird is Paramatman, Supreme Self. The tree is the body world of samsara. The fruit is pleasure and pain, results of action. According to the Sanskrit philosophy, all of the persons have the Jivatman, individual soul. And comparing all of the individual soul, there is a one supreme self Paramatma. According to some Hindu tradition, through the individual soul, they hope to become Supreme Self or Paramatma. They want to become Supreme Self. Yeah, this is the another verse taken from the Rig Veda. Rakshano Agni Tava Rakshanebi Rarakshana. Actually, this part of the verse, we can understand the anuprasa ornament. Rakshano. I explained before, anuprasa is the repetition of the letters. According to the pronunciation, the similar letters repeat again and again. It is called anuprasa. It is the sound ornament or shabda alankara. You can see here ra, 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 ra. The similar words repeat again and again. Rakshano, ra. This is also, this letter also ra. This is ra, ra. Similar letters repeat. This one, sh, the second letter of this word. Sh, shano, shani, ra, rakshana. Similar letters and sound also same. Rakshano, raksha, nebi, raksha. The first word, last letter no. No. Na. Na sound. Rakshano, Rakshana. This is called anuprasa, repetition of the same letter or words. Actually, letters repeated in this verse. Dialogue songs, music, and dance were developed in Vedic literature. Dialogue means conversations. Some suktas, some parts of the Vedic literature, we can identify the conversations between two persons or among persons, and also the songs, like songs and music, dance. We can find some components of the songs, music, and dance were developed in Vedic literature. The example is like this: Adi Peshansi Vapate Nanuriva Pornute Vaksha Usreva Varjam. The meaning is, he lays out the radiant forms as a weaver spreads his cloth. He unfolds abundance like a milch cow, pressing forth the shining wealth. This is also the Ushas. When Ushas is same the morning. Morning imagined as a person, Ushas, and he is like a female dancer. When morning comes, it is like coming female dancer to the earth. Yeah, this is a verse taken from the Natya Sastra, chapter 1, verse 17. Jagruhat Pata Mrugvedat Samabhyo Gita Mevacha Yajurveda Dabinaya Rasana Tarva Nadapi. Jagruhat taken from Patam. Patam is the conversations or dialogue. Conversations or dialogue taken from the extracted from the Rig Veda. Mrugvedat means Rig Veda. For the composition of the drama, the dialogue or speech taken from the Rig Veda. Jagruhat Patam Mrugvedat Samabhyo Gita Mevacha. Music, Gita Mevacha, music, songs. Music or songs taken from the Samaveda, Samabhyo, Samaveda. Yajurveda Dabine. Yajurveda Abhine. Abhine meaning gesture or ritual actions. Gesture, Abhine. Abhine taken from Yajurveda. Yajurveda. Rasana Tarunadapi. Rasa means the emotional experience. Emotional experience taken from the Atharva Veda. This is a traditional belief, not not cannot get exact real definition, but the Nati Sastra mentions like this. Dialogue for the composition of the Natya, dialogue taken from the Rig Veda, music taken from Sama Veda, gesture or Abhinaya taken from the Ajurveda, and emotional experience taken Atharva Veda. These are the 4 Vedas in Sanskrit Vedic literature. In Sanskrit Vedic literature, these are the 4 Vedas, and according to Bharata Muni, Natya Sastra is the fifth Vedas. And in the Vedic literature, we can identify Samvada Sukta, or discussions of the 2 persons or persons, and also we can find some information about the Sanskrit poetics from the Shatapatha Brahmana. It is Taittiriya Brahmana, Kaushitaki Brahmana. It is the Brahmana literature created after the Vedic literature. After Vedic literature, then Brahmana works, and also Upanishad. Upanishad is the next period of the works. Mundakopanishad, Kathopanishad. And after that, finally, Vedanga. Vedanga is the final works of the Vedic literature. All of those literature can be identified some components or the developments of the Sanskrit poetics. Step by step or gradually. And grammatical literature evidence as the foundation of poetic expression. Grammatical literature also mentions some information about the poetic, about the foundation of the poetic expressions. One of the famous grammarian in Sanskrit, Panini. Rudrata's Kavya Lankara mentions Panini composed one Mahakavya. Mahakavya means a great epic, great poetry, Mahakavya. And Rajasekara's Karpura Manjari mentions Panini composed one poetry named Jambavati Jaya. Swasti Paninaye Tasmai Yasya Rudra Prasadata Adavya Kavya Manujambavati Jaya. Swasti Paninaye Tasmai. Salutations to that Panini. Yasya Rudra Prasadata, by whose Rudra grace. Adavya Kavyam. The grammar was composed first. Anujambavati Jaya, and thereafter the Jambavati Jaya. Panini composed one grammar book, and also he composed one poetry, Jambavati Jaya. But actually this is a traditional belief, not completely finding information. Traditionally believe Panini composed one poetry. Panini is famous for the grammar. He is not poetician. The Panini's famous grammar work is Ashtadhyayi, his famous grammar work. And in his Ashtadhyayi, he attempted and tried to explain what is the components of Upaman, components of simile. Upamanani samanya vachanai. According to this phrase, he explained what is the components of the Upama, simile. Next one is Yatnena Krutam Nata Tena Proktam Vararucham Kavyam Jalukaha Slokaha. This verse reveals the poetic works called Vararucha. This is the aphorism or sutra taken from Mahabhashya. Mahabhashya is a grammatical works composed by Patanjali. Patanjali's Mahabhashya mentions there was a kavya, there was a poetry called Vararucha. Vararucham Kavyam means the Vararucha Kavyam. And Patanjali's Mahabhashya mentions three names of the works could be included into Akhyayika styles. Akhyayika means not verses, but composed in prose. It is not verses style, but it is included with prose, not Those three works are Vasavadatta, Somanottara, Bhaimarati. And when it comes to the period of epics, there are two famous great epics in Sanskrit literature, Ramayana and Mahabharata. This is the verse taken from Mahabharata, portions from the Bhagavad Gita. This verse extracted and mentioned Dvanyaloka. Dvanyaloka is the poetic treatise or poetic works composed by Anandavardhana. He is the famous famous critic in Sanskrit literature. He extracted this verse from the Mahabharata. Ya nisa sarva bhutanam tasyang jagarti sanyami yasyang jagrati bhutani sanisa pashyato muni. This is the meaning of this verse. Actually, we have to understand this verse only the extracted from the epic words to the poetic treatise. This was taken from the Mahabharata, Adi Parva, the portion of Adi Parva. This was extracted and mentioned in Kavya Prakasha. Kavya Prakasha is the famous poetic works written by Mammata. Mammata is the author of this Kavya Prakasha. Narayana Parodevo Bhagavan Vasu Devascha Kirtyatetra Sanatanaha. Narayana Parodevo. Narayana is the supreme God. Bhagavan Vasudevascha. Bhagavan Vasudeva. Kirtyatetra Sanatana. He is glorified as the eternal Bhagavan and Vasudeva. He means the Narayana, no? Narayana. And we can identify some evidence taken from the inscriptions. There are so many inscriptions in India. From all of those inscriptions, Girnar inscription is very famous, written by Rudradaman, because there are so many alankaras or poetic expressions we can identify from this Girnar inscription. At that time, the Rudradaman's writing time of this Girnar inscription, there was a difference between prose and verse. Prose and verse. And also the Rudradaman identify what is the style or riti and merits guna. We can discuss furthermore what is the riti and guna. There is a difference between these style and merits. Rudradaman identify what is the what are the ritis and what are the gunas of Sanskrit poetics. And also in the Natya Sastra, composed by Bharata Muni, he mentions so many predecessors of the Bharata Muni. Predecessors means before the followers, so before to Bharata Muni, the poeticians or rhetoricians, Alankarikas, names of the Alankarikas. He mentions, Bharata Muni mentions, Kohala is the one person who has known the components of Sanskrit poetics, dramatic and dance theory. He mentions Kohala is the owner of the dramatic and dance theory. And Dattila, authority on music, Gandharva. Shilalin and Krushaswa are the early dramatists. Narada, celestial authority on music and performance. Tumburu, mythic and music theorist. Vishakila, occasionally mentioned in commentaries. These are the names: Kohala, Dattila, Shilaling, and Krushastra, Narada, Tumburu, Vaishakila. All of names mentioned in Natya Sastra, mentioned Bharata Muni. This is the Bharata Muni, you can see here. And his famous work is Natya Sastra. Actually, as I previously mentioned, his main purpose is not to introduce rhetoric, Sanskrit rhetoric, but his main purpose is to introduce drama, science of drama. He explains in his Natya Sastra origin of Natya, how to origin, and Natya, Nritya, how to create a theater, stage design, acting, music and dance, and also Bharata Muni explains rasa or sentiment aesthetic experience theory in his Natya Sastra. Actually, his purpose is explain how to get rasa or aesthetic experience from the drama. But when we consider the Sanskrit poetics, we have to pay attention all of the verses, prose, and dramas, how to take rasas, how to identify rasa, how to get take aesthetic experience from all of those poetical creations. Bharata Muni paid attention only drama, how to origin rasa. Yeah, Bharata Muni's Natya Sastra composed between 2nd century BC and 3rd century CE. The 16th chapter mentions an outline of poetics. He mentions 4 poetic figures or alankaras, 10 excellences. Excellences means gunas. 10 defects. Defects means dosas. 36 characteristics, lakshanas. Characteristics or lakshanas means the what are the special components of the drama. And 6 and 7 chapter introduce the nature of the rasa and its essential facts. Bharata Muni explains what is the rasas, what are the numbers of rasas, and what are the components to origin rasa in 6 and 7 chapter. But his main purpose of this work is to introduce the dramaturgy or science of drama, not theory of rasa. His main purpose is not to introduce theory of rasa. This was a strong influence on later literary theory. Bharata Muni's Natya Sastra is a strong influence for the latest literary theory. For example, the 4 poetic figures. Bharata Muni explains only 4 poetic figures, but the later, at the Bhamaha's period, you can see here the Bhamaha's Kavya Alankara. At the Bhamaha's period, 4 poetic figures improved 35 poetic figures. This is only 4, but Bhamaha explains more than 35 poetic figures. And 10 excellences, 10 defects, guna and dosa. Bharata Muni explains what are the gunas and what are the dosas, but after Bharata Muni, Bhamaha, Dandin is the next poetic criticism after Bhamaha. He also explains gunas and dosas. He explains gunas and dosas in different ways. After Bharata Muni, Bhamaha is the next Alankarika. He is the first Alankaric in Sanskrit literature, Sanskrit poetics. Bharata Muni is just explains these facts. He cannot consider as the first Alankarikas. Bhamaha's purpose is his main purpose is explain Kavya Alankara or ornaments. Therefore, he is the first poetic Sanskrit poetics in Sanskrit literature. He defined what is the Kavya, and he explains the Alankara or ornaments are the soul of poetry. Every Alankarikas explains Alankara as the soul of poetry. He explained doses, excellences, and Alankaras. Alankara can be divided into two parts: Shabda Alankara, figures of sound, and Artha Alankara, figures of meaning. We have discussed before Anuprasa. Anuprasa is the figures of sound. Letters repeating. We can take Alankara as sound. Yamaka means repeating words. Repeating words again and again, we can take a figure of sound. Slesa also Sabda Alankara. And Artha Alankara or figures of meaning. Upama, Rupaka, Utpreksha. There are so many Artha Alankaras in Sanskrit poetics. As I mentioned before, Natya Sastra and Kavya Alankara, or Bharata Muni and Bhamaha. There is a gap. Bharata Muni lived before the Christian era, and Bhamaha lived 7th century Christian era. There is a gap between Bharata Muni and Bhamaha. And Bhamaha mentions some predecessors of the Kavya Alankara, and he explains some names and some works of the Sanskrit rhetoric. And okay, this is the history of Sanskrit rhetoric or Alankara Sastra. You can find some information about this from the works I mentioned, references I mentioned, the information works. So especially history of Sanskrit poetics, S.K. Day and P.V. Karne's book. Those two books are very useful for identify the origin, develop, and works, authors of the, and especially the schools of Sanskrit poetics. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the listening of this lesson. And if you have any questions, and now we can discuss.
Yeah, Pandey, I have some questions regarding the guna, the dosa.
Yeah.
It's different from what we have learned from the Buddhist, the guna dosa. Can you explain a little bit about these two words?
Actually, the gunas and dosas are the components of Sanskrit poetics. When we compose verse or something creations, there is some special qualities, of that verse. What do you call some verse we can identify little bit sweetness. When we reading that verse, we can get some smoothness or sweetness. There are 10 excellences of that verses. Some verses we can identify compounds, so many compounds. These are the gunas, and dosas are the abundance, weakness of the poetics. If we include some unusual words, unnatural words, or bad words, when we write the verse, if we include those unusual words, it is the dosa.
Oh, okay. So Pandey, why there is poetics? Why they are using so many munis? They are writing books and creating this thoughts, different thoughts on poetics. Did I explain clearly?
Yeah.
I mean, why is poetics or is so important in the Sanskrit literature?
Actually, the Sanskrit is the creations of the, and they won't give information. They won't give something very easily, not hard, not boring. At that time, they include so many poetic components of the in the poetry. And actually, sometimes in Sanskrit literature, not actually verses and prose also, the early period, like the Kalidasa, Ashwaghosa. Have you heard those names?
No,
Khalid,
sorry.
Kalidas and Ashwaghosh, those two are the very famous in Sanskrit literature, and they composed the verses in natural way. They write not thinking so much. They can quickly write, compose the verses, looking at the environment, nature. But later periods, the authors of the poetry tried to compose to show their erudites, show their educations.
Okay.
Therefore, they
also
they
philosophy things.
yeah,
maybe.
they included so many poetic components, too much, and another reason is they wanted to show their educations to the kings of that period, and they wanted to take some wealth also, praises also. They wanted to famous. That's why they included many alankara, guna.
Okay, thank you, Bande. I have a little bit idea.
I don't know whether you understood very easily. I don't know your experience about the Sanskrit language.
Actually, I'm very impressed by that poetry. You use the two words that ubana, that simile.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah. I think it's those poetry from those Vedas are very comprehensive, very with so much deep thoughts and philosophy in it. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Bande.
Actually, the simile is the first figure of his speech, Artha Alankara, and the first early period upama is the only one, but later the upama has subdivisions. So many subdivisions of the upama. Hetupama, Viruddhopama, Malopama, like that.
Oh,
so many divisions
so
of the
different type of upamas.
Yeah, different types.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we at the Bhama's Kavya Alankar mentions more than 30, but later there is a poeticians Appaya Dikshita, called Appaya Dikshita. He mentions 128 128 figures, Artha Alankaras. gradually or step by step increased the the portions of the poetics, alankaras. Actually, this is the only alankara, and rasa and guna, riti, auchitya, dhvani is another schools of this Sanskrit poetics.
So which means that at different period of time, the poetics have developed into different schools.
Yeah.
On the okay.
Yeah, I mentioned before. This one.
The soul. Yes, this one.
Yeah. Yeah, the alankara, I explained the figures of speech this lesson, but next one, guna and riti. Next part, next is school, and next one dhvani, and after that rasa. Because the rasa, I mentioned here rasa as the first one, because Bharata Muni explains the rasa in his Natya Sastra. But later, I don't know whether you know, Abhinavagupta, there is a criticism, Abhinavagupta. He explains what is the nature of the rasa. That is, after that, after Abhinavagupta, there is a there was a rasa school as a separate one. And after that, Auchitya, Vakroti. Anumati cannot consider as a developed Sanskrit theory, because they criticized the Dvanivadians. And they called there is not a theory like Dvani or suggestions. We cannot apprehend poetic experience as suggestions, but infer. We have to infer, and we can identify, we can get experience we can get aesthetic experience in infer.
Okay, thank you, Bande. It's very interesting and very comprehensive content. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you please share us this presentation?
Yeah, okay. I will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we can wind up this session. So thank you very much for listening and participate this lesson also.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Venerable.
Thank you,
Thank
Bande.
you,
Very nice.
Venerable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Have a nice
week.
good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.